Today we're going to be talking about how long you should stay silent after a breakup. And specifically, I'd like to talk about three things. Number one is really understanding the purpose of silence when it comes to a no contact rule after a breakup. The second thing is really me putting a new twist on no contact rule timeframes. And third, navigating the dismissive avoidance stages during a no contact rule. Now, if you're a veteran of this YouTube channel or my website or my podcast or wherever you may have heard me talk about some of this stuff, this may seem repetitive, but I assure you, because I'm adding a new twist to it, it's going to be different and arguably better. So I'd encourage you to pay attention throughout the entirety of this video. So first things first, let's understand the simple question of how long you should stay silent after a breakup. Now, usually when someone asks me about silence, they're ultimately inquiring about the no contact rule, which I've written many articles about, filmed many videos on. So I don't want to really go too in depth on the no contact rule, but for those of you who aren't familiar with our way of doing things here, at least on our YouTube channel, our official definition of the no contact rule is as follows. It refers to a period of time where you cut off all conceivable communication with an ex after a breakup. Now, the intent of the tactic should not be used to make your ex miss you, but instead should be used to rebuild your own life so that you can begin the process of outgrowing your ex. Now, by doing this, the no contact rule can have this awesome benefit of making an ex miss you. So that should do it, right? You should stay silent after a breakup for however long the no contact rule is for, right? Well, before I'd answer that, I'd like to show you some research. Now, most of the people that end up entering into our orbit and engage in a no contact rule do so because they believe that it will help make their ex want them back. Usually, they gauge this by having the expectation that an ex will reach out to them during no contact. But about that. So 2021 and 2020, really the last couple of years, were really great for us from an information gathering perspective. And one of the things that I was really curious about was how often those clients that we had who ended up using a no contact rule on their ex, how often those exes that had the no contact rule used on them actually reached out. And the results weren't great. In fact, over 60% of our participants said that their ex did not reach out to them during a no contact rule. So the majority of people who are probably going to use a no contact rule on their ex won't see any type of reach out from an ex at all. And we think this is because the vast majority of our clients who have exes tend to be avoidant. So of course they're not going to reach out first. But this brings up a fundamental issue with silence after a breakup. Often people value silence only because of its function to create desire within an ex. And the thinking is simple. If I'm silent, my ex will miss me and want to come back or relive some of the top moments from our relationship. Now, here's the problem with that. When you actually interview success stories, when we actually talk to people who are successfully getting their exes to reach out to them, we're finding that the people who go into a no contact rule / silent period with the intent of just trying to get their ex to miss them or get them back, they end up never really getting that desired result. Now, why? Why is that? Well, I think it's important to understand the time frames to really understand the silent component. Like, how long should you stay silent after a breakup? Now, I'm going to say something extremely controversial, something that will kind of fly in the face of what I've recommended in the past. And it doesn't have to, as it's more of an intent issue, but more on that in a second. Let's stick to the basics right now. Generally speaking, we recommend 3 distinct time frames when it comes to the no contact rule. You have a 21-day rule, a 30-day rule, and a 45-day rule. Now, which reigns supreme? This is the ultimate question. Well, that's actually a complicated question to answer as well, because everyone has a different situation, and everyone's situation is wholly unique to them. As a result, different no contact timeframes are kind of required. So here's the general rule I would say. Most people, like 90% of people, are going to end up doing a 30-day rule. They'll end up failing that 30-day rule. But we're not talking about failures right now. We're just talking about the general speaking person who's watching this video. So let's say you're doing a 30-day rule. The first question you got to really answer here is asking or understanding if your ex is reaching out excessively to you. Now, if they are reaching out excessively to you, have they contacted you with at least 7 positive reach outs. And if that's the case, then you can shift to a 21-day rule. Notice I'm not saying, oh, end the no contact rule and contact them right away. I don't believe that. I think that you need to see your no contact rule through to the end, and usually that's the best thing. So I like to think of no contact rule timeframes as adaptable. So we have 21-day rule, 30-day rule, 45-day rule. Which reigns supreme? It just depends on your situation, but that's what I used to think. Here is sort of the fly in the ointment.